What's going on? It's your boy Sermon at Sermon's Domain on Twitter. Fat Joe and Remy Ma have released their debut album together as a duo. Plata o Plomo, aka Money or Bullets, comes off the heels of a huge 2016. One where All the Way Up was a hit single, and it featured a remix with a rare appearance from Jay-Z. Like, you just can't ask for a better feature. And so that record took off in pretty much like the first half of 2016. And they put out some singles here and there. You got Money Showers, which is slowly but surely climbing its way into the charts. But nothing that has matched that intensity of All the Way Up yet. As expected, Remy Ma is the highlight of the album. Her wordplay is just like knife cutting right into a piece of butter, just so smooth. Throughout the album, she's a bit more aggressive towards a certain fellow female rapper, to the point that this album almost feels inspired by Remy Ma's bloodlust to be the best, to be the queen of hip-hop, of rap. And it's kind of crazy just to hear that over and over again. Like, you can tell she's really in the zone, really just going in, going hard. Fat Joe, he doesn't overly impress on this album, but I can't say I walked away feeling disappointed. I look at it like Fat Joe gives you exactly what you'd expect from Fat Joe in this day and age. It's good, but it's not great. Now let's talk about my favorite song, starting off with Spaghetti. This hook is just crazy. I'm wondering what Remy Ma did in the studio to pitch this one. Like, how does she pitch the idea of making a hook that's kind of centered around spaghetti, around noodles and pasta and all of that? It's a creative hook. I think it's one of the better ones on the album, but it is a little bit weird, especially because a lot of the hooks on this album are outsourced. So for Remy Ma to jump in and do a hook is kind of weird. When I saw it featuring Kent Jones on this song, I thought that more than likely he would do the hook, but alas, he didn't. With this song, Remy Ma continues to go after that fellow female rapper. I think that's why I like this song. It's one of the sharpest instances where she is going at this female rapper, saying, "You the biggest bird on Sesame Street, and I'm gonna scramble your egg, keep running your beak." Like, a little creative line. And it's funny because this fellow female rapper hasn't even said her name. As far as I know, there's been no subliminals, and I'm purposely not using the name. But we all know who Remy Ma's been trying to go at, trying to bait. But as far as I know, there hasn't been a response. So it's kind of funny to have that line. I think it's more just creative than anything. Keep running your beak, like the whole egg, Sesame Street, all that. It's just meant to be creative, but it turned out good. It's probably one of my favorite verses on the album. The other song on my favorites list is How Can I Forget, featuring Kent Jones. Kent Jones is on this album a total of 4 times. That's a lot for just one artist. You know, he's providing a couple hooks. He's got a guest feature, so he's all over the album. Really good look for him. With How Can I Forget, you have one of the best concepts on the album, excluding the hook, which I absolutely hate and we'll talk about more in a second. You know, Remy Ma uses this time to kind of reflect on being locked up. Fat Joe reminisces as well, but it's not as you know, restricted, as dark as Remy Ma gets. And so overall, it's just a good record. I like the concept a lot of just reflection. That's really what it is. It's self-reflection. Now let's talk about the bad on the album, starting with hooks. The hooks are honestly some of the worst parts of the album. And it's crazy because the beats are good, the two are shining throughout the verses, but a lot of these hooks, they just fail to connect. For instance, How Can I Forget officially overstays Kent Jones' welcome on the album. I think the first half of the hook is good, it's solid, but then he gets into that, how can I forget? Like, it's just, I don't like the tone of it. It just doesn't work out for me. And then you had another record, How Long, where it just gave me a severe case of deja vu because the hook is just all about money. And you know how I feel about money-related songs. They just don't work out that often. And this is one of those cases. And now I wanted to talk about the one song that I would omit, the one bad song, which also features an awful hook, Cookin', featuring French Montana and Rye So Valid. This song right here is an attempt to recreate the magic of All the Way Up, but unfortunately it falls all the way down. Rye So Valid's hook is pretty much, it looked like I've been cooking. Over and over again. It looked like I've been cooking. It looked like I've been cooking. Like, I think what made All the Way Up so good is that it was A, it was catchy, it was good, and B, it was a phrase that is positive that you want to say. You want to walk around saying nothing can stop me, I'm all the way up. You don't want to walk around all day saying I feel like I've been cooking. Like, I just don't feel like this record really hit at all. Plata o Plomo is a better album than I anticipated, even with all the flaws that it has. I look at it like this album solidifies the chemistry between Fat Joe and Remy Ma, but in many ways we already knew that. So it kind of just reinforces that they still have this chemistry that has been in the works, that's been strong since the early 2000s. That's what this album does. And it's a nice album too. I look at it like Fat Joe and Remy Ma as a duo can really do some damage. They probably stand to gain more if they tour together. They're going to sell more. Clearly they have an eye for the music. They just need to tighten up the hook. So I don't know if this is going to be a situation like Run the Jewels, where they team up and they decide we're going to tour, we're going to put out more albums. I don't know, but I think it would be a good idea in the long run. Not to say that they should totally abandon being solo artists, because you can put out solo music as well. But I think there is more to this partnership than just this album. So those are my thoughts on Fat Joe and Remy Ma's Plata o Plomo, Money or Bullets, their debut album together. After you hear the album, let me know what you think about it in the comment section below, and then like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, share the video. Follow me on Twitter at @SermonsDomain, and as always, thank you for your time. I appreciate you for watching, and until next time, peace.